Whoa! What's up, internet?
I don't know why I did that.
I don't either.
Fender Bender!
Ah, my fender is
Bent.
bent. Bend my fender.
Craziest thing, I took my eye off the road for one moment to change the radio station. Next thing I knew, bam, you were right on top of me.
What's up, internet? Yeah, so we just watched Fender Bender.
Show 'em the
this beautiful Shout Factory
80s
release.
corny.
I showed it in the last video. I'm showing it again. Look at that artwork, guys. Shout Factory does amazing shit. Go buy their stuff. Shout Factory, pay us money. Fender Bender is a 2016 made-for-TV movie made by Chiller and released by Shout Factory. It was directed by Mark Pavia, sorry. And stars Mackenzie Vega and Bill Sage. And it tells the story of a girl who gets into a fender bender.
Cries a river and drowns the whole world.
You know, she gives her information as you're supposed to do, like a good little schoolgirl. She gives her information to the person who hit her, and they exchange information. And it turns out the person who hit her is a serial killer who wears bondage gear and has a knife made out of a door handle.
I can't wait to comment on his look.
And yeah, so then it just becomes, you know, a fight for survival. This movie is totally an homage to 70s and 80s slasher films.
Oh, totally, yeah.
And I mean, it's made to be, and I like it a lot.
Well, I don't want to say the word because I'm going to use it as my describe this movie.
I know. Okay, I know what you're going to say then. But yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. It's like I think the best thing I saw was somebody else used this on like a review I read of it before it came out. They said it's a nice rainy Friday night horror movie.
That is a very good way to describe this movie.
Yeah, it's good if it's
Except
Friday.
it's Thursday, and it was actually kind of pleasant out today.
It was hot during the day. But
it was hot during the day, but like at evening, it had that crisp fall feel.
Right. But yeah, it's it's Friday night. It's raining. You're looking to watch something. Turn on Fender Bender. It's not a bad watch. So yeah, we're gonna delve into it. And what did you like about this movie?
Like I said, I liked how it was like a throwback. It wasn't anything new.
No, it's definitely not anything. It's nothing genre defining.
But it didn't feel regurgitated. It still felt fresh. It was a new concept it was like teaching an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
A lot of people say you can't do that. I disagree.
Wrong. Actually, that's a good way of putting it. I think it like I said, like he said, it's nothing genre defining or new, but it's refreshing because it's 2016, and you don't see many good slasher movies or many slasher movies at all nowadays.
Yeah.
And so to see one that actually tells a pretty decently original story, it's nice. It has, problems, but overall, I think that's definitely a plus.
The score was very 80s too.
Right? I was gonna bring that up.
This
movie has a score by a guy named Night Runner, or a band named Night Runner, I'm not sure. But they do an excellent job with like the score of this movie. I actually would call it memorable. I love the killer's outfit. And I like his... You don't like the outfit?
I do, but I'll save that for just...
Oh, right, yeah. I like his weapon of choice. It's a car door handle with a fucking pop-out, like, knife. It's not very practical.
It's like a homemade switchblade.
Right,
kinda.
giant homemade switchblade. I love how retro this movie is. I'm a sucker for retro revival horror, and so this is like... This made me very happy, because I love slasher movies. And so this was like, this was really good. I think, Hillary's a decent enough protagonist. She's likable. She's well written. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, she was good.
Oh, and that was the other thing. It's shockingly violent for a made-for-TV movie.
Holy shit!
They get away with a fair bit of gore, I would say.
It was.
It's like. I don't know. And
the neck kill. The fucking knife
the
to
blade,
the neck.
The blade like through the side of the neck. It's like I said, they get away with a fair bit. Also, it's pretty well written, I would say. The initial confrontation or the initial meeting between her and the driver, creepy as fuck.
Played out and dragged out, but not as a bad thing.
It's just very much like a hunter-prey dynamic, and I like that a lot. I don't know. Like I said, there was a lot about this movie I really liked, and I think it was pretty, it stood on its own 2 feet without having to, use other movies as a crutch.
I concur.
Anything
wholeheartedly.
Just a little detail. I love, like, the roof covered in driver's licenses of,
that was pretty
That's
cool.
really cool. But, yeah, aside from that, those are my main things I wanted to bring up. Okay, you said you wanted to comment on his costume.
Alright, it's not that I didn't like his costume, I liked it, but it sort of felt like... a blend between, hey girl, I want to get kinky tonight, but I'm on a hell of a budget, so I'm just gonna like get one of those cheap Halloween costumes and stitch it together.
Okay.
It was a blend of that, and I failed my second audition to be a guy banging on a trash can in Slipknot. That was like the two vibes I was getting from that costume.
I can definitely see both of those.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
There is gonna be some spoilers coming up, so we'll touch on that in a second. Yeah, I'll get to that. It does like it is very much a retro, like homage to 80s and 70s horror slashers, but it does kind of fall into like some of those tropes that I was kind of like, all right, it does get a little predictable because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can pinpoint which characters are going to die because they're very underdeveloped and they just kind of show up with like a third left in the movie, and you're just like, oh, okay, so they're just cannon fodder, and you know it. The fucking stereotypical jock boyfriend who's just a douchebag, again, underdeveloped, and I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
The fucking insurance lady on the phone is like a super bad actress.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna tell you about this brutal murder that happened, and you might be in the same scenario, but I'm gonna be really calm about it. And this lady who's just, it's really weird. She was murdered. And so
weird, just strange.
How did the guy who gave you that information if it wasn't her? I felt like Mark Wahlberg in The Happening. Yeah, the one thing I had a little bit of an issue is I'm all for being ambiguous with a villain's origins. I don't think you need to know everything about them, but I would have liked to know a little more about the driver guy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little, because there's certain things he does that I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I want more. I want more about that. That's interesting. But other than that, I mean, my biggest problem with the movie is I don't think it needed to go the route of we need a downer ending just because that. I didn't like that. I felt that it was it felt almost tacked on a little bit. I liked the ending, but I didn't like the way they took, a certain part of the ending. And I kind of wish they had just taken it a different route. It just felt like they were like, oh, well, we need to have set up for a possible sequel, so we'll give it a really downer ending. Because it kind of ruins Hillary's arc as the final girl.
Yeah, I agree.
So that bummed me out a little bit. But I mean, that all, those things aside, it is pretty well put together, and I liked it a lot. So what would you say this movie would be?
I'm gonna give this movie a solid.
I'm
gonna say solid, a fair solid.
I think that's fair. I was gonna say it's probably I don't know if I would call it solid. There were a few too many things that felt a little too cliche to call it solid for me, but I would definitely say it's good for fans of slasher films. Absolutely.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah.
If you're like us and you're a sucker for retro horror of the 80s.
If you're into that whole chopping mall kind of
absolutely chopping
that
mall, the burning stuff like that. It's a really good time, especially if you're a fan of the slasher subgenre. Check it out. Give it a watch. If you like it, buy it. Yeah. So
describe this movie in one word.
Fender
Bender.
Thanks so much as always, guys. Thanks for watching, and if you like us, if you like our faces, Mike's dead or something. I don't know where he is, but yeah, comment, subscribe if you like us and we like you. Tell us what you thought of Fender Bender if you watched it when it premiered on TV, or the many times it's played since, or if you've got it on DVD. Tell us what you thought of it.
Tell us anything.
Just talk to us, please.
Talk to us. If you have problems,
we have no friends outside of each other.
We all got our problems. You can leave them in the comments. I might even respond to them.
You won't respond. You don't have a YouTube account. I'll respond to them.
I do have a YouTube account. I just use it to share videos.
Well, anyway. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We like you. Both hands.
Jazz hands.